Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Lance Gilman joins us. He's the partner broker with the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
Carson Valley Inn, it's your place for the good times. Carson Valley Inn.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the air conditioning back on today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why sweat for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your air conditioning fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're always pleased to welcome back to the program my friend Lance Gilman. He is the partner broker with the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial center. Pleasure to have you back on the program, sir.
Pretty amazing, isn't it? Good to be here, Sam. Always good to be here.
Wanted to follow up on my interview with Doug Cannon from MV Energy. You had a comment to make about that.
Well, so certainly the infrastructure is a challenge for all of us, isn't it? I haven't got my first electric car. You would have thought I'd run out and bought my Tesla, but I have not. But we do have fresh, beautiful charging stations up in Virginia City, right by the courthouse, Sam. So you're welcome to come to VC anytime and visit and enjoy the town, and you can charge your car.
Well, thank you, sir. and I should also mention that you are currently a Story County Commissioner. I
am, yep. I'm in my last program. I've got 1 year left after 24. I term out.
But it's been an amazing run.
Been a fast run. I can't believe how fast it's going, but yes, sir.
Well, listen, that's life in general, but let's not go down that road. Let's talk about the growth that's coming in Northern Nevada. It's actually coming statewide, but in particular for Northern Nevada, you're already working on TRI-2 out in the Fernley area. The lands bill is through the House committees, correct?
Correct.
It still has to be voted on by the House.
That's true.
And then goes to the Senate. What is the optimism in your conversations with Congressman Amodei?
Congressman Amodei is very positive that we're going to get through the House this year. We're hopeful. You know, it's amazing when you enter the world of the federal government how things slow down. But I think we've been at this 3 years now. But I would say Congressman Amodei is positive, and we think we'll get through the House this year.
What's the interest level from developers to come into a TRI-2? Very
strong. And as a matter of fact, I don't know if you've driven out to Fernley anytime.
Yes, recently. Yes.
There's a lot of buildings going up right there by the truck stops as you enter town. So they're seeing growth now. They're not going to be able to hold it back. There is so much demand for us right now. It's interesting. It's a bit of a celebration today. We're literally, by the end of this month, which is a couple of weeks away, going to be closing the very last land parcel in TRI.
Wow.
And
wow.
It is wow. Very last land parcel. So we'll maybe have a little champagne. Although now what we're doing is we're starting to remarket a lot of the pieces that we've sold over the last 10 or 15 years. So the beat goes on, and there's a lot of exciting thing going on there. But the last land parcel that Roger Norman and I have is will close escrow at the end of this month. Isn't that amazing?
Yes, well, and that will mark 25 years since the inception of TRI. Started in 1998, according to the Las Vegas Review-Journal.
So yeah, we started in '98. I think we bought it toward the in the last quarter of '98, and then we started putting all the development plans together in '99. And what I think I sold my first parcel in 2000.
All right, so let's talk about what's going on currently. The word is out there, and you feel free to comment or not on this, that Microsoft has bought 350 acres for a data storage farm out at Silver Springs, which is the other end of USA Parkway, and that the Dermody Company is working on buildings in what was the West Adams property, which is the eastern portion of Story County and the western portion of Lyon County. And that's a 20,000 acre parcel they've been sitting on for close to 20 years.
Right.
So what are your thoughts about all that?
Well, it's interesting on the dynamics of a distribution or data storage. For the data storage component, they need about 3 locations, and they have to be a certain miles apart, and it has to be safe from the. So if they lose one, they have the duplicate. So in Microsoft's case, they have property in TRI in Comstock Meadows. So they're doing a project now that's actually the building center construction, and then they have their property down at Silver Springs, and we would expect that they would probably move out toward TRI2 or in that area. That'll be their third leg of the stool.
Okay, so another potential customer right there.
Theoretically, they'll want 3 locations strategically located.
Any information you can share about the Germany projects?
Not anything specific other than it's going in.
Okay, so but that is that not a huge step that somebody's finally starting to develop in that area?
No question about that. Yes,
Because 20,000 acres is about the size of Carson City, right?
I don't know that for a fact, Sam, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I think I've done the math on that before.
I think you probably have it.
But that area, if I'm not mistaken, in the past was zoned for commercial industrial.
Yes, sir.
Is Lyon County looking to put any residential in that area?
I haven't heard, but I doubt it. Everybody has kind of pushed back on residential, and they're happy to have all the income-producing properties. So I think that probably 20,000 acres is slated for industrial commercial, although there's some beautiful components there for residential. So more to come. Water is a limiting factor there.
Well, and that was going to be my next question.
Water infrastructure.
Okay, so where are we with that? Because Jeff Page was on the show probably a couple of years ago now, saying that the need for Lyon County was water.
So the only thing I can tell you for certain that appears to be making positive steps in our community is importation projects, and we, in lockstep with others right now, are looking at importation projects that have some viability. So I think probably in the next 10 years, we'll see that component come on board.
Okay, with water importation projects are always protests.
Sure.
Are you already seeing those, or?
I think they'll be every step of the way, yes.
Is that, you've been in the development business a long time. You got out of the record industry, which was an interesting development process, and got into developing period. But you have to have incredible patience every step of the way with these deals.
It's interesting. I think generally the vision is there, and I think most of us involved in it will say yes. But it's a matter of the patience necessary to get through the hoops. And they're always there, and they seem to repeat themselves every year. So yes, there's going to be pushback on bringing the infrastructure in. That's just part of the life of the development program. But it will happen, Sam. It's just a matter of the time that it'll take. But there's some wonderful opportunity out there. It's a matter of cost, isn't it? And so once we can get beyond the cost, and the cost of water, but once water reaches a certain level of value, then it'll work within the community. And it's going to work in Lyon County and TRI2 as well.
And we saw that on the Truckee River, where the price of water went sky high at one point,
yes,
and then dropped dramatically after that. People complain about the Mapes Hotel in downtown Reno being blown up, but the reality was that the Cardenas family sold all the water rights as soon as they bought the project, and that project could never have gone forward. But then the value of water dropped considerably after that. So water just go up and down.
It's commodity, and we've banked a lot of it, and we're comfortable in moving forward with TRI2. But I know some of the surrounding projects are going to have to line up and figure out where their water is going to come from.
We know that Google purchased 2,000 acres from you. There's been a lot of discussion about what that property is going to be used for. Any clues?
Actually, it was 1,250 acres.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
that's all right.
A slight exaggeration.
It's been a long time, but it was close enough to 2,000. I guess we can say that. And
thank you.
it's interesting that they started a component which was data storage, and although the ABC group was looking at moving some of their various companies within their portfolio out there, and they talked about that. And then we went through a period of time where they became disenchanted with what's happening in Carson City, and from the political side, and so they kind of put everything on the back burner, and we didn't see it happening. But all of a sudden, they're back at the table. And I think a lot of that's being driven by not just Tesla, but some of the other things that are happening, Microsoft, for example. And so I think the handwriting's on the wall for them that this is a real strong developing area, and they're back in play.
How, when the first Tesla project, the Gigafactory, went up, it was huge because not only was it huge in size, but it was huge in terms of the amount of money they were putting in, about $3.5 billion.
Right.
Since then, so much additional money has poured into TRI in terms of development. How big of a difference does an additional $3.5 billion make in terms of the building the semi-trucks?
I don't know the answer to that question, Sam. How much difference it might make. When I look at the money that Tesla has invested in the ground, I think that's secondary in some ways to the payroll they're generating. And so one of the criteria that I look at as they move forward is that the payrolls that Tesla is generating, and then the companies that come after, that are coming in now, we're talking about $1 billion in payroll, prospectively. And if you look at what's happening in the surrounding region, that's really the fruit of the opportunity. And I'll look, for example, if you take Reno and Sparks, or Washoe County, for example. In the preceding 7 years before Tesla invested their $3.5 billion, but more importantly, brought in all this payroll, the general fund budget of Washoe County and the others was about 10 to 12% in growth. After Tesla, over 221%.
Wow.
So the general fund budgets of everybody in the region are just skyrocketing right now. Not so much because of the $3.5 billion investment in the ground, although that has its component, but it's all that payroll, it's all the jobs. And one of the things that frustrates me a little bit is when all the various communities are talking about the impacts on their community, they're not looking backwards and saying, look at the value, look at the prosperity we're enjoying here because of jobs and payroll. And payroll kind of falls off the truck.
One of the things that I found interesting was that because of the housing situation, we're still playing huge catch-up in northern Nevada. And we can see that through the prices going up again, almost immediately. Tesla is looking at RV parks to be able to accommodate workers to build that semi-factory. Am I correct on that?
Actually, we have some at Tierra, yes.
Yeah. So that's a way that you are having housing there, but without building houses per se.
You can have RV parks. You can have extended stay facilities that are actually not residential. So there are some facilities that are going up.
So there's like business hotels.
Yes, sir.
And what's interesting, and I know you have projects that are going on in Winnemucca through your company as well.
We do.
We're going to do some shows up at Thacker Pass, and it's interesting that I booked rooms for our crew at the Fairfield, the Marriott Fairfield in Winnemucca. They were $200 a night.
No.
I mean, these business hotels are doing fantastic business. I mean, it used to be that you could stay, and no offense to Winnemucca, it's a great town, but I mean, you could stay there for $40, $50 a night.
Yes.
No more.
You're going to watch a lot of wonderful things happen in Winnemucca. The mining is exploding out there, and a lot of opportunity, gold and silver. And one of our major water importation projects will come out of Winnemucca.
Okay.
Winnemucca is going to see a lot of opportunity in the near future.
Okay, so that's out of the Humboldt?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is that anything connected to, and stop me if I'm asking too many questions here, but Winnemucca Farms is involved with
They're
that?
certainly involved. They got a lot of land. They got a lot of water rights.
Yes, they do. They do. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back more with Lance Gilman after this timeout.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org. Truck drivers are some of the hardest working people you'll meet, delivering over 70% of America's freight and 92% of Nevada's. When there's a natural disaster, they're delivering critical supplies to help those communities recover and rebuild. Every sector of the economy and our nation's military rely on truck drivers. So let's take a moment to say thank you. On the open road or city streets, our truck drivers are rolling to make our economy and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Lance Gilman. He's the partner broker for the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, also a Story County Commissioner, also a realtor. You deal in luxury real estate in the Reno-Sparks area.
Yes, sir.
How's that business going?
The housing business has been wonderful, if you can get listings. There's a shortage of listings in the marketplace, or there have been, but no complaints.
Is that in part because people are having trouble getting loans that are comparable to the loans they currently have on their housing, so they're loath to, trade across to
I don't think there's any question about that. We have some loans that are 2.5%, and now it's up, 6, 7, maybe over 7%. So certainly the cost of the loan today is slowing the market down.
Are you in process of buying down the rates for people? Or,
no, sir.
Okay, so
that's a business for somebody else. I like to develop real estate.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But the luxury market seems to still be booming in northern Nevada.
I believe that's true. Yes, sir.
With properties like Ranchera, with properties around the lake. It seems.
And short supply.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And you're seeing developers coming in, like Larry Ellison, is basically going to shut down the beachfront access for the Hyatt Regency at Lake Tahoe, at Incline Village, for like 2 years to develop, more things on the beach down there. That's a big time player.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was surprised that he got into the Calneva resort at the lake, but then got out of it as well.
No, you'd have thought they'd developed that. It's always kind of puzzled me why it hasn't gone further, but for some reason. Yeah.
But if anybody had the money to do it, Larry Ellison certainly is not short of a dollar or two.
The lake is busy right now. Try to get rooms at Caesars, South Shore.
It's
booked.
It's funny. I was looking just specifically at that for our anniversary, and yes, not only are they booked, but the costs are extremely high.
It's amazing.
And they
wonderful,
have,
I guess, but amazing.
Yeah, but they haven't even gotten to the refurbishing portions of that yet. I know they will get to it, but it's amazing. But I think the part of that is that the Caranos always knew what the value was of Lake Tahoe, and I'm not sure that Caesars, prior to them owning it, really understood Northern Nevada or Lake Tahoe.
Very possible. Yes.
All right, let's talk about Switch. Expanding a TRI?
They're building, you bet. Yeah, it's beautiful. You've been out and looked?
No, not yet.
Yeah, they have 2 super naps up, and I think they have pads graded for 4 more. So they're busy.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
But we're right in this internet highway that goes all the way to back east. Rob Roy gave a lecture a couple of years ago, and he was talking about 5G and all the benefits of 5G and how they were going to utilize that. And part of it is that in Northern Nevada, they're connected to that hub that goes all the way back
And then
east.
this tremendous demand for the storage of all of the product. I know you're going to see a lot of expansion development for data storage in Northern Nevada. We're a hub right now.
Why is it so prime for these companies? What do we have that others don't?
Well, when you look at the criteria that they have for site location, safety, removed from freeways, in areas where they are comfortable and safe in storing all this data. And then they need like at least 3, as I mentioned earlier, 3 hubs in where they go in. And Nevada offers a lot of topography that works. We have the expansive property. They're not going to develop in the Reno region, for example. They're going to go. And that's why I believe that our rural counties are really in the catbird seat on an awful lot of wonderful, what would I call it, high dollar. A data storage building might cost $600 to $800 a square foot to build, maybe more than that today as the prices go up. And so the investment is wonderful. The payrolls that they pay are way above average, but they don't need to employ great numbers of people. So they're not impacting us with all maybe of the traffic or some of those items, but they bring a lot of wealth, a lot of demand. They bring a lot of other small companies that do want to keep an eye on their servers and all the stuff they have stored within these. So it brings a lot of growth and wealth, but not quite the impact that a major Tesla might bring with all the employees in the manufacturing. So it's an interesting industry, and I think that we'll do well to have it here in Northern Nevada.
To say the least. Let's take another break. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Big R in Sparks is located on Bering Boulevard next to Smith's and across from Reed High School for workwear and everyday wear, evaporative coolers, outdoor living, Weber's, Traeger's, and Lodge. Fill your propane tanks here. Big R on Bering Boulevard in Sparks next to Smith's and across from Reed High School. Big R. Hardware, clothing, and a whole lot more.
Remember 2010 in Northern Nevada, 13 to 14% unemployment, thousands of homes in foreclosure, Nevada's casinos closing? Families in the Reno Sparks area were hurting. Many were losing everything. Then Story County launched a game changer for our region, a public-private industrial partnership, streamlined permitting, slashed bureaucracy, attracting Fortune 500 companies that made Nevada their home. Story County generated a river of cash to area communities. Economic studies by the state and others for the Gigafactory consistently show positive economic benefits for our region. $4 billion in local wages, $17 billion in consumer spending and economic activity, over $100 million in taxes to Washoe, Story, Reno, Sparks, and Nevada, just for the Gigafactory alone. Story County, improving Northern Nevada one industry at a time.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Lance Gilman. He is the partner broker for the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. Tell me something I don't know that's going to happen in the next 5 years in Northern Nevada in terms of the economy.
Tell you something, I doubt, Sam, that I'm going to be able to dig up anything that you're not highly suspect of. But what I can tell you that's going to happen is that there are today, you know, I was just reflecting on this conversation we're having. So much of the conversations we've had in the past, I could tell you about what had happened that I could talk about. One of the things that we're challenged on right now today as you and I move forward is so many of the things that I'm working on are, I'm going to tell you, behind the curtain. They just can't be made public and be healthy in that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so so a lot of what we're talking about, TRI-2, for example, and the wonderful things that are water importation and the wonderful things that are happening and the value that might be going on in some of the industry that I'm involved in. Some of that stuff I have to be a bit coy and careful about where I go. But here's what I can tell you without unequivocally. We, my little old team, are hands-on right now with some of the most exciting product and companies that we've ever seen in Northern Nevada. And so as we look back, and you and I we can look at what Tesla has created and the demand and the impacts and everything else that's gone along. I can share with you what maybe you don't know right now, and I can't name a name, and that's horrible, and I'm so apologetic for that. But there are some things about to happen that are more dramatic than what we've had in the last 10 years.
That is a stunning statement.
That is absolutely, without question, a reality.
And that's
Isn't that fun?
And that's where, yes, it is, sir. And that's
Yes,
where
sir.
we have to leave it. Growth still for another 20 to 30 years in Northern Nevada, already on the table, right?
Yes, sir.
Amazing. We'll be right back.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Event Center sits at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. 2 floors of meeting and event space are ideal for groups and conventions. Stay in one of 200 luxurious rooms and suites. Brand your event throughout the property. Flexible event spaces make for easy planning and personalization. Take over the entire hotel with a full buyout option.
7 at 7 is a newscast built for your smartphone. It's a 7-minute newscast available every weekday at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. at lvrj.com. We don't waste your time, and we give you the day's top stories.
We at the RJ have noticed some similarities between us and a certain BTS character, RJ.
Plus the latest in Las Vegas business, weather, health, and entertainment news. 7 at 7 streaming now on your smartphone.
Calamity. It lurks around every corner. Or not. That's why UMC Quick Care is around every corner, with locations around the valley. UMC Quick Care, for all your small calamities.
Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers. You can catch us online 24 hours a day at NevadaNewsmakers.com, or you can download the podcast wherever you like to get your podcasts. We'll see you on the next broadcast.